Hello and welcome to Production Bytes. I'm your host Veranova, and today and over the next 5 episodes I'm going to be covering one of the most requested subjects on the show, for me to walk through the production of one of my own tracks. So today I'm going to be covering my track Veranova. First of all, if you want to hear the whole track, I'm going to put some links down below so that you can have a listen to this track and also my entire EP. And it might be useful to have a good listen through to this track before I make a start, because I'm not going to play the whole thing through in this video. So before I jump right into the project, I want to show you how I've generally organised it. At the top, I've got my drums, and this is how I always start my projects. My drums will always be at the top. Then beneath that, I've got some kick effects and all my wind-ups. And next, I've got my sub-basses, my basses, all my lead synths, and lower down, I have my instruments like strings and arpeggios, other synths which don't belong to the drop sections, and also I have some vocals at the very bottom. I organise my mixer exactly the same as in the playlist, just so it doesn't confuse me. So again, I've got my drums at the start, then onto effects, sub-basses, basses, and synths. Everything gets routed through a bus channel, so all my drums have a bus, all my bass and guitars have a bus, although there are no guitars in this track. All my synths have a bus, and all my instruments have a bus, as well as my vocals and effects also having their own separate buses. I've also got 2 sidechain channels, which are constantly sending out a sidechain signal. So my first sidechain is just a 4/4 sidechain, and then I've got a slightly different one. And I can pick these up on any channel to sidechain more easily within my projects. The buses then go onto a pre-master, and I've been asked about my busing and pre-master a few times recently. And the reason I do this is, firstly, busing helps me with my mixdown, and a lot of people do this, but the reason it all goes onto a pre-master is so I can reduce the level going into the master, and this is because all of my samples generally come through as a normalised sample, so they can build up quite quickly and end up clipping on the master channel. So what I'll usually do is I'll just mix it to sound good, but I'll mix it through the pre-master at a lower level, and that way I don't get things building up too loud on the master channel. So first off, we've got the intro, and the finished intro sounds like this. So the first thing I've got here are some drums from Easy Drummer, and those sound like this. The other thing you'll hear is this hall kick on the intro. And originally this sounded like this. So what I've done is I've put on an EQ and I've just taken off a bit of the low end. I've then put on the fruity flanges and also a stereo enhancer to make it a bit more mono. And that just brings the whole sound under control and means it fits better in the mix. Then I've also got 2 wind-ups. And these are synths that I've made in Massive. And all I've done there is I've automated a number of parameters with a macro. So the cutoff on scream filter's coming up, causing the scream. Also the pitch is rising on all of the oscillators, and I've even got some white noise coming in towards the end. But it's a fairly simple synth to make. The next one, again, I've made in Massive, and this one sounds like this. The next thing down is a little ARP I've made, and again this is a Massive patch. I'm a big fan of Massive. And then near the end, before it drops, I put in the hall kick again. I've then got this Mortal Kombat style staccato. And also I've taken some synth strings, which in this case I've made in Harmless, and I've pitch bent them up towards the end. And then finally, I've got a vocal sample which I've pulled out of a sample pack.
Who will save you now? Victory is mine.
The effects on this aren't too heavy. I've rolled off the low end and I've also compressed it a little bit. But then I've also sent it on to some reverb and delay, which has added a lot to it in terms of eeriness. But once you put together all of this, you get this. So that's the intro.